Americans seem to love the number 2. There are mostly two options in America. There is 1 and 0, yes and no, right and false, Democratic and Republican. In this tradition, Real Time Law made a video about how two Americas could look like, a Democratic and a Republican nation. But do you remember when I said that I want to balkanize the world and suggested that America split up? I did never mean two nations, but I never specified. But it looks like Colin Woodward did the work for me though. He himself is a native and has therefore a unique perspective. And yeah, to clarify to the US officials, in the case that I come over, no, I have no intention to break up the United States with my own bare hands, because I don't care. What I keep repeating is that I think that you are a dysfunctional patchwork family bound together by a strange idea of unity and fear of the whole world, but I think you would be way happier if you go friendly and peaceful your own ways. You know, the same that I wish for Europe, because I think we were happier then and I think you would be happier with this solution. However, back to my new best friend Colin, he suggested the following nations that would exist if unification in early stages of your history would never happen. First, it's Yankdome. The area was settled by radical Calvinists and is spanning the entire northwest of New York City, as well as Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Yankee values education, intellectual achievement, communal empowerment, and citizen participation in government as a shield against tyranny. Yankees are comfortable with government regulations. They trust government. They have a streak to utopian ideas. Then there are the New Netherlands. The area was settled by, well, the Dutch, and has a highly commercial culture. The New Netherlands is in its nature materialistic, with a profound tolerance for, well, everything. It is a natural ally with Yankdome, although it has a different culture. Then we have the Midlands, settled by English Quakers. The Midlands are a welcoming middle-class society that spawned the culture of the American heartland. Political opinion is moderate and government regulation is frowned upon. The Midlands are ethically diverse. It's America's great swing region. Within the Midlands are parts of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, and Nebraska. Then we have the Tidewaters. Tidewaters was built by the young English gentry in the area around Chesapeake Bay, I butchered that, sorry, and North Carolina. Starting as a feudal society, they embraced slavery. The region places a high value on respect, on authority and tradition. Then we have Greater Appalachia, colonized by settlers from the war-ravaged borderlands in Northern Ireland, Northern England and the Scottish lowlands. Greater Appalachia is the stereotyped land of the hillbillies and rednecks. Appalachia values personal sovereignty, individuality, liberty, and is intensely suspicious of lowland autocracy and Yankee social engineering stuff. It sides with the Deep South to counter the influence of federal government within Greater Appalachia. The parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Indiana, Illinois, and Texas. Then we have the Deep South. The Deep South was established by English slave lords and styled as a West Indian-style slave society. It has a very rigid social structure and fights against government regulation that threatens individual liberty. Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Texas, Georgia, South Carolina are parts of the Deep South. The next region is a bit different. It's called El Norte, composed of the borderlands to the Spanish-American Empire. El Norte is a place apart from the rest of this America. Hispanic culture dominates this region, and the region values independence, self-sufficiency and hard work above all else. Parts of this is again Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California. And then we have the left coast, I love this name, colonized by New Englanders and Appalachian Midwesters. The left coast is a hybrid of Yankton, Utopia and Appalachia self-explanation and exploration. It is also an ally of the Yankton. Coastal California, Oregon, Washington are the left coast. And then we have the far west. It's the conservative west. Developed through large investment in industry, yet the inhabitants continue to resist the eastern intention to control their own investments. Among far west states are Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Washington, Oregon, North Dakota, South Dakota, Colorado, Nevada, Utah, Nebraska, Kansas, Arizona, New Mexico and California. And then we have New France, and oh, I looked like I missed to mark this part over here. New France is a pocket of liberalism nested in the deep south. Its people are conscience-driven, tolerant and comfortable with government involvement in the economy. New France is among the most liberal places in North America, perhaps because they are surrounded by places or not. New France is focused around New Orleans in Louisiana, as well as the Canadian province of Quebec. And then finally we have the First Nations. The First Nation is composed by Native Americans who fled in the north where no Western wanted to be. The writer of the book suggested that it is a large place but with not a lot of people there, around 300,000 or so. The main influences on these sides are Yankton on the one side and the Deep South on the other side. These 11 cultures could, perhaps, live peacefully next to each other without nuking themselves and everybody around them. What are your thoughts? Could you live in an America that looks that way? Or does the United States have to exist as one monolithical block? Give me your thoughts about that. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.